Hello, my name is Agnese, and I am a Red Moon tent creator. I'm from Latvia, and this Red Moon tent talk will be in English because we have a very special guest today, Tnah Louise from Los Angeles, and I see that she has already joined, so I will connect now to this talk. Goes. Yes, and everybody is welcome who is joining. I believe that we managed to connect and go live. So I'm trying several times to accept this request to join. I will try to send it from my side.
Hello. Can we get it?
Hello.
Hello.
I can hear you, but I don't see you. Do you see me?
I see you.
Oh,
Okay, let's see.
great.
Share video. Did that work?
No, but sometimes Instagram makes some tricks. Do you see both of us, or?
I see both of us on your end. Yes.
Okay, that's great. We have also somebody has joined. Please let us know if both of us are visible. But I have had such situations where whether I don't see the other person or the other person does not see me. But after all, everything is okay, and in the recording it's okay.
So that you could see my face and not half of me. There we go. Let's see if that helps. Huh. Okay. But you still don't. Okay. Well, you can hear me though, correct?
I hear you. Yeah, this is pity that I don't see you. I would love to see you, but I will see you in the recording. So I think this is great that we have connected, and let's have the talk like that, and I hope that everything will be fine and done in the recording.
It's more about the conversation, right? They don't need to see me.
Exactly. I would love to see you.
It's the most important thing is the words we shared today.
Yes, I will see you afterwards. Yes. So yes, I am very happy and grateful that that you are here and that you managed to find time and that you are investing time in this talk. And first of all, I want to ask you how is your name pronounced correctly, so I can address you.
Tina.
Okay.
I don't have an I in my name.
Okay. Now I know. And
yes, but it's
actually,
pronounced Tina. Tina Louise.
Yeah, nice. Tnah
Thank
Louise.
you.
And is the Louise your last name or your second name?
No, it's my second name. No, my last name. I am actually officially with leaving a marriage of 20-something years and having 4 children, and my father passing. I actually am considering keeping the Louise because it's my middle name, and I've used it throughout my life in business. So I think that I am at a point where I'm going to continue with Tnah Louise and not hold any surname attached to any male, my father or my ex-husband. So I made that decision last year. So now for the paperwork, which is dreadful.
Okay, I see, and now I know because I was wondering how it is. Yeah, is it which is first name? Is it the second name or the last name? And so now
we
I
know.
know.
Yes.
Yes, nice, so nice to know. Yes,
Thank you.
Tnah, and I would like to start and to tell how do I know you? How did I meet you? And this
How did you
was
come across my work? How did you find me?
exactly,
I'm in Los Angeles and you are in
exactly.
Latvia.
I'm in
So
Latvia, yes, and we have pretty big time difference. You have 9 in the morning now, and I have 7 in the evening. And yes, I'm very happy that we managed to connect. But how did I find you? It was some 3 or even 4 years ago.
longer than that.
Uh, you think so?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It was definitely, I'd say more like 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm just thinking of the timeline. It's been longer. Time's speeding up for us for sure.
yeah. Exactly. Could be. Yes, I'm also. Yeah, the weeks are running as crazy, and also the months, and
2
I'm
weeks
feeling that.
left of 2024, if you could believe that, in a blink of an
Yes,
eye.
yes, exactly. And yes, but how I noticed your work? Yes, it was accidentally when I noticed on Facebook your post about the menarche ceremonies. This your very viral post with beautiful pictures, and it somehow touched me so deep. Uh, those pictures and this story, that I felt that this is something very special for me. And actually, this was the starting point of my interest at all about all these things which are connected with womanhood, with menarche ceremonies, with woman initiation. And when I noticed this post, yes, as I said, it touched me very deeply, and I started to investigate what is it. What is it, how it was in the ancient times, how it is still in the world, those rituals with when a girl starts her woman period. And yes, I was so inspired and so touched. And actually, I think it was also because my children, my son and my daughter, they were shortly before this puberty time, and that's why it was also very important for me. And yes, this is how it all started. And then I noticed that you have this course for menarche ceremonies, for those rituals, those ceremonies, and I was looking at it, and yeah, it was something so inspiring. And then you had advertisements that you will have this course, and that there is possibility to participate and to ask for a karma spot, that you will give one karma spot, one free participation spot. and I participated, and I got this spot, and I was so happy and so honored. And now, it's already for about 3 years when I also when I am having those ceremonies here in Latvia and providing it for Latvian girls. So this is the story how I met you, and what I would really love to know, what was your path? How did you come across this work with those ceremonies? And maybe before you could also overall tell what are all the things what you are doing, how you are helping people, and yeah.
Thank you for that. I just want to first start off by saying, to witness you take what my intention was, is to share this work with other women who want to empower youth in their neighborhoods, in their communities. And I had no idea that I was going to reach women around the world. And I have, and they've made a significant difference in their countries, in their communities. And you ran with it, and I've been watching what you do, and it's absolutely beautiful and just pulls on my heart, because that was the intention, to share what I know so that other women can then empower the youth around them and their communities, and you have done just that. So I just want to thank you for that. It's that karma spot really did it, so thank you.
So
And as far as
thank you.
yes, and as far as myself and how I got into this work, it started off with myself. I come from fashion, a background in fashion, and as we
Oh.
know that from 14, I've been in fashion. I attempted to model, and it was disastrous for me, but I somehow ended up on the other side of the camera as an agent, believe it or not. And what I found with my early years, I was doing that up until, I want to say 22, 20, 25, 22, 25, but how it objectified women. And I love working with women, but I realized in that capacity that it was no longer serving my heart. And I left the country. I quit my job and I moved to Costa Rica. And I was pregnant with my first child at 22. And I had a birth on the beach there, and I
Wow.
found it to be, I mean, it was beautiful an experience, yes, but at the same time, it was also lonely because I didn't have family with me, and I didn't realize that I had suffered from postpartum depression. But I believe now, looking back, it was a form of depression. And for my next birth at 27, I had read the beautiful book, The Red Tent. And for
Oh.
those of you that don't know this book, Anita Demont, go and get it, because it's a biblical story through the lens of a woman, Dinah, and the story is in the beginning of Genesis, but it's almost like a footnote. And what the book's premise is: the power of sisterhood, storytelling for legacy, sacredness, ritual, ceremony. And I said, I want to have this experience for my next birth. I want to have my red tent sisters with me. So for the following 3 births at home, I birthed water births at home. I selected women that were with me, and everybody was designated a role to help me. One was cooking, one was helping me with the other children. And it was such a beautiful experience that I had created for myself. And
Wonderful.
I saw the power of sisterhood in that time of coming together. Now, my youngest, 4 sons, will be 20 at the end of this month. My oldest will be 30. So these are years ago. This current day, my work has expanded, and I have a lot of female friends with daughters, and living in Los Angeles, there's a lot of overculture, let's say, and a lot of them coming to me with issues of the heart, wanting to wear makeup too soon. The whole objectification came up again, and I really wanted to honor, one, my roots as I'm Mexican Irish, and we have Yaqui roots too, indigenous roots from Mexico, indigenous Indian from Mexico, and my brother is very much walks the red road, and so does my mother. But going into a sweat lodge, and when a young girl also has her menarche, they celebrate it in a very special way. We all go into a sweat lodge together, but it was limited to that culture, and I wanted to widen it because I wanted to reach every culture. It doesn't have to be just indigenous roots. They're priestess roots. So I would say that I follow a priestess path now, and in my work I include these ceremonies for young women. But as I am 53 years old and 3 years menopausal, I haven't had a cycle for 3 years. I'm now growing this work to include menopausal women. I want to honor them with what I'm calling it a la corona circle, and that is the crowning of a woman as she reaches the end of her menstrual cycles. I'm also including death doula because I have walked a few people through the death portal. So I'm not only working with birth and new mothers after having a baby, and in my postpartum practice, I find that I am now covering the range from birth to death. That's my work, and it's my promise. I call it my promesa, and I'm committed to doing this work until the day I die because I know that it impacts women's lives, and young women in particular. We're here in America. We're in a very critical time, let's say, with a new president coming in and a lot of our rights taken away. Roe versus Wade, I mean, that has been dismantled. I mean, so many things, women not able to get access to vital medicine that they need in the cases of rape and incest. So there's a lot coming at us. So now more than ever, I feel like this is a really important time to do this work and educate these young women to know that they have power, great power within them, and to speak up and use their voice, and also just teaching them about a cyclical life, that there's cycles and phases, and not everything is forever. So
wonderful. So wonderful. As I hear, you are a doula in very wide perspective, in so different those paths from one how to say yeah, in different
so sorry.
initiation times.
You just paused for a long time, so I don't quite know if you said something that it was a question or.
Okay. Yes, I said that as I hear, you are a doula in very wide scale, in very different those situations of life, and it is so wonderful, and I loved your story about how did you start this red tent path, that it was from your need to have this sisterhood for you, and when your children were born. Yes, and I can also recommend the red tent book, and also there is a very beautiful movie. It's also nice.
They did a good job of recreating the book. Usually it's hit or miss, but I would say it was a hit. And is it Minnie Driver? She plays Dinah in the film. It's a beautiful film. Highly recommend for anybody curious about what the movement spawned from. I believe that was one of the books that started this whole red tent movement.
Exactly, and this is also why my page and this movement in Latvia is called Red Moon Tent.
Yes.
It's also it started as a Red Moon tribe actually, and afterwards it changed to Red Moon Tent because I felt that yes, Red Moon and Red Tents and Red Moon Tent, it goes so nicely together. Yes, and
absolutely.
Exactly. And it is about this sisterhood versus conquering and trying to achieve and yes, all this stuff.
Sisterhood, supportive versus competitive and ego-based. Yeah, definitely a flip in how we see how the overculture has made us as women more enemies than supportive sisters, for sure.
Exactly, and this thought that you cannot trust other women and that the women are snakes and all this stuff. I don't know if it's called like that in America, but in Latvia, for a long time, there was this thought about women like snakes and that you can't trust other women and don't tell and don't be vulnerable and all this. And yes, now in my those master classes and circles, this is what we are learning, that we can trust and that we can be open and it's safe and that we can accept each other, that we can show each other our vulnerability and yes, and it is very, very healing and yes, and I also liked what you mentioned about this already menopausal also shift to a wise woman, that it is also
Needs to
already
be
something.
celebrated.
Yes,
It needs to be celebrated. You know, the average doctor that goes to school will say that they have 1 month worth of training on menopause. That, can you imagine? I mean, for all the changes and all the hormones we lose, they have 1 month of training. And that's why when you go in, what's the first thing that they do? They want to give you a patch and put you on hormone therapy. And I believe with hot flashes, I try to reframe that and I try to say we have surges. We have surges of energy, not hot flashes, but these surges of energy that we can utilize. So it's time for us to reframe what we've been taught about menopause. I mean, if you look back in the 40s, 50s, they didn't even really know what it was, but women were sent to the asylums, crazy homes, because their hormones were out of whack and they just thought they were crazy. And it was all a chemical imbalance. It's just, it's maddening. And going to
exactly.
what you mentioned about the snakes, women being snakes, that if we can go back to matriarch times, the snake was a symbol of spirituality. It was a symbol of wisdom. And now we look at the snake as something evil. And you see how that also turns. So there's a lot of reclaiming that women must do at this time. We need to reclaim the feminine and the ways because they were supportive. And yeah, we need to change the dialogue there.
Exactly, and I myself, I'm also in this, so I'm looking already towards that in some years I will also have this menopause, and I also feel among my friends, among the women I know, this fear from it, and it is also like stigma or something like that.
May I share something I
Yes.
learned that I thought was very interesting? I'm sorry I can't place who said this, but they were talking about the hormone estrogen. And when a young woman starts her menstrual cycle and the estrogen is kicked up and moving in the body, that's considered the hormone of accommodation. And, you know, we accommodate so much throughout this period of maiden, mother. And when you get to crone, and oftentimes, I would say maybe now a little less with estrogen dominant plastics and stuff, but we lose our estrogen. We lose our hormones at the end of progesterone, estrogen. And they have said that because we lose this hormone of accommodation, that's why you find so many women in their 50s that take back their power, what happens? They will get divorced. They will start a new job. They'll go back to school because they're now self-empowered. They're no longer accommodating the needs of children, of, of these things, the commitments we've had. And I found that so interesting because I'm in that phase right now where I've definitely have been recreating who I am in the world these last couple of years. And I think it's beautiful to frame it that way.
So nice. And actually also maybe you have some thought, why is this period called crown? Is it like a crown or
It is like the crown because of all the wisdom we've accumulated throughout the years. We're at a point where we are now the wise ones that hold the keys, but there's also a duty that comes with that. If we can, we need to share it with the younger generations, usher them in. And that is a bit of the priestess path. You are working with not just women, but your community. You're a sacred space holder. You help through transitions. You do things such as honor the cycles and the wheel of the year, the solstices and things, eclipses. You're very in tune with nature and what's needed at those particular times.
Exactly. So this is something to aim for, not to fear.
Yeah, I would say that's my hope. I want to celebrate those that step into menopause. I want to celebrate them. I actually am planning I'm planning my first circle for myself. I want to invite my dear female friends and I want to ask them to bring a wise word and a flower for me. And I I would like to be crowned by my dearest friends. There were some that were with me at birth, and now I have more friends that I would like to include. It's not as intimate as birth, so I want to include them, and I want to take their pearls of wisdom and take them to my grave. It's time for this next phase. So, yeah, I want to definitely mark this transition for me. So I'm going to do that in the next year, and hopefully I get to create something beautiful like I have with Sacred Monarchy.
Great. Sounds so beautiful.
I'm excited.
Really, really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And actually, yes, I have also one question about this because I'm already for a while thinking about that. How do you feel when you are already in this phase, in this menopausal phase? Is it still okay to hold those menarche ceremonies, or
Oh,
it could be better?
absolutely. No, I think it's even more okay because again, I have pearls of wisdom to share with these younger generations. So I think it's important and it's now part of my duty to do this for younger women. And it's interesting because a young girl can have her cycle as early sometimes as, believe it or not, 9, 10. They're getting their cycles quite young. 14 on the later end. So there's a lot of change between 9 years old and 14. And so how you present that menarche ceremony has to be handcrafted for each young woman. Uh, I'm creating one for a young woman next year, January, February. She's 11, and I gave her mother a mother blessing when she was pregnant with her, and she has always been in our circles. Maybe about 2 years ago, we felt like she was old enough to come in and be with the older women. So there she was, this young, sweet girl with about 20 of us older women, and there's tears being shed. We share a lot, and her mother felt, no, I need her to see that women go through these things. And we had a guest come from New York. She had never been part of our circle, and she had a double mastectomy, and she felt very compelled to take off her shirt and just sit as the woman she was without her breasts. And Nalea was sitting directly across from her. And I was just watching her watch this woman take off her blouse, and she didn't have breasts. And afterwards I went up to her and I said, Nalea, I noticed the look changed in your eyes. You didn't get scared, but it felt like of concern. And she said that was so powerful that she was able to do that and just be, she was saying naked, that she could be, you know, topless with all of the women there. That was so powerful. You know how that etched something in her mind. I don't know how it will affect her growing up, but the fact that we allowed her in this space where real talk was happening, she saw a woman who was feeling empowered by the group. And I'm sure that that left her feeling somewhat empowered too. So I'm excited to give her this ceremony. It's going to be very beautiful, just because she knows what we do, and she's been my apprentice, helping me set up for my tent circles. And now it's her time. It's her time now. Willow.
So nice, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, my daughter was also 11 when her period started, and it was also the first menarche ceremony for me.
You did a beautiful job.
Yes,
Beautiful
thank you,
pictures.
thank you, and it was so interesting that it all came on the right time because I was ready. I have had your course. I started to talk about it, to share this information. And yes, and then she started her period, and it was all together in the perfect timing. It was so nice. I'm
How
so
did she
thankful.
come out of her ceremony? She had close friends. I saw a few girlfriends there, but
Oh,
how did she feel after the
yes,
experience
yes.
of being honored?
So it was mostly my close friends because she when we talked together, of course, who she would like to see. It was some family women and some my close friends and their daughters, but she knew them for sure as well. It was a little bit tricky because when this teenager when for the girl this starts, she's a little bit confused, and this is here in Latvia. It's not usually something what you would like to share with everybody, and to have some ceremony or
Here
some.
too. Here
Uh,
too. I think
yes,
everywhere.
yes.
It's
It,
something
it,
hidden. Our
yes,
cycles are something
yes.
hidden, for sure.
Exactly, and this is something what has to be used to. And so, but I was very thankful that she agreed, she wanted it. And when I asked her, she thought about it because we have spoke about it also before. And then she told, you have some dogs
I
there,
have
as
my
I
girl. I have
understand.
two young girls and my dogs. Yes, I'm keeping them in my tent with me, but they might have to leave because they're barking. Sorry about that.
Okay, but I don't hear.
Okay,
I don't hear. I
good,
have
good.
two cats,
Okay,
so
good,
but
good.
they were calm. It's okay. Yes, and when I asked my daughter, she thought for a moment, and then she said, "Hmm, if I will have a red dress and lots of food, what I like, then I agree."
Okay.
And I was happy about it. And afterwards, yes, she was a little bit shy about it. How is it? All this attention to her and to this thing and this circle sharing and everything. But she was happy. Yeah, she got presents, and she was happy about this experience that it can be celebrated. Something like that can be celebrated. But yes, it's still not something about what she would like to talk to every of her friends, because this is not something so very common here in Latvia. And as far as I know, I'm still the only one here who is
Doing
offering
your work?
something like that.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
but I'm very very grateful. Yes, for you
Thank you.
that I met you, and that you are inspiring really this movement around the world, because in our course there were also ladies from Netherlands and from other countries, and it was so nice. Yes, and actually another thing, what I would like to ask you, it's so interesting that you have 4 sons, and
I know
still
everybody
you
asks
are
me that.
doing this job. Yes.
Yeah. Women's work for sure. Yeah, my sons have to marry women. So
Exactly.
there's a piece of me that has talked to them about being conscious males. Uh, and with that, we've talked a lot about what type of women they would like in their lives. I want them to be men that understand that women have a cycle each month, and that they need to honor that woman and care for them during that time. And
Mhm.
uh, that's one piece. But again, I've worked with women for most of my life on different capacities, and this is far more rewarding and it feels needed. I feel that there is a deep need to teach women the power of their bleed. And if you think like, we're so powerful, we can create life. We have a womb. Men can't do that. That's a power. That's a superpower. So if we can
Exactly.
rephrase that, and if young women know that they have a superpower, I mean, what kind of leaders will they be when they grow up?
Mhm. And also, I feel that in some sense, we women, we are also educating men, uh, yeah, for what they should be, how we allow to treat us, and yes, and how we feel ourselves as women. That's how we also educate the men.
Uh, Yes, absolutely. And having a couple years ago, I did a Mary Magdalene trip to the south of France. I wanted to learn about her and her work in the Gospels, and leaving there and understanding her story, I really felt that Jesus taught love, but Mary Magdalene, who was one of his disciples and kind of dismissed from the group in many of the godly books, she embodied love. And it took the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine to come together. And I feel that we need to return to that as well. We've got a toxic male society right now, and women are definitely at the hands of that in a lot of ways. And I feel like it's not just about educating the women. It's also, like you said, it's educating the men, um, a more conscious approach, a gentler approach, because I think even as women, we have a toxic side too, especially trying to be in the world of patriarchy and doing business in a man's world. And a perfect example of that, I would say, is the vice president who ran for office for presidency. She to me is the woman who's living in the man's world. She couldn't really show her femininity. She had to show her strength. And I think that there should be a balance. And I just don't know if it's completely possible in all situations, but we can do our best of trying to educate these women to have this balance for sure.
Exactly, yes, and yeah, we are also responsible for our part, exactly. And I would also love to ask you, how was it for you? This stepping into womanhood. Did you also have something special with your cycle starting? How
I,
was it?
I, I really wish I did. So I was raised by my great grandmother. And my mother at that time, my mother was 15 when she had me. She was a young woman. Yeah. And with being so young, she went through her own struggles. So I didn't get to share in those sort of things that we've done for my nieces. So having not a grandmother, a great grandmother, she came
Mm.
from the early 1900s, and things were not talked about. So I don't even remember having a real talk about what happens when a woman gets her cycle. I remember pads being given to me, and there was no internet to go on. You had to ask your other girlfriends. Luckily I had an aunt who was willing to share more with me, but I don't remember it being anything special. Thus, another reason why I felt like this was important work, from my own experience, because I went into a modeling career really early and saw how easy it is to lose your sense of self. And yeah, there was no power. I didn't feel any power other than my, I don't want to say my sexuality, but uh my look, my using my looks to gain, to gain interest, to get ahead. And yeah, I had to completely like deconstruct that and learn new. When I went to Costa Rica was my time that I really had to sit with myself and all of those skeletons in the closet. um no TV, no, we lived in a village that didn't even have hot water, so there was a lot of looking in retrospect at my younger life, and trying to figure out how I can change that for myself. So a lot of self-inquiry, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Would you say this was a turning point for you in your life?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
When,
22
mm-hmm.
was my turning
Mm-hmm.
point. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when I realized that, oh my God, I can get up and not wear a stitch of makeup and be okay. It's okay. I don't need to put on a face for the world. That was the first thing that I was able to do that felt really good. I was a young woman who wore heels every day of my life. So to be barefoot on the dirt roads was another big thing. It started off very simple, but then I soon discovered, after the skeletons, being pregnant, and the skeletons kept coming out of the closet, and the crying, and all the recognition of, I would say that was my first um, dark soul of the night kind of
Mm-hmm.
experience for myself.
And how did you manage to come over this time and this period, this dark time?
Grace of the goddess, I would say. Really, I started meditating more at that point. And so a lot of things come when you're in a place of grace. And I, I just, little by little, I started to empower myself. Again, reading that book, just,
Mm-hmm.
I read it there. I couldn't do it there. I didn't know enough women, but I read that book there, and it just painted a picture of what could be. And it also made me thirsty for that too. So
So this really sounds like, yeah, everything set up for your path.
yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
really,
all those
I've
circumstances.
all of my work has presented itself to me. um I don't feel like I've ever really gone after anything. That it's come to me, and I've accepted it, or have, not. But even my postpartum work, I'm not considered a traditional postpartum doula. That's not what I do. My specific job, I am a mother roaster. So my job is to mother the mother. I take care of the mother, not the
Mm-hmm.
baby. I don't clean, but I offer them belly binding. I do womb healings, yoni steams. I get them back to their themselves. 40 days. That's usually the period that I work with them.
Mm. Oh, nice.
Yes.
Mm. And yes, and also one important question what I would like you to ask is how do you see the women initiation? Is it several stages, or do you see as a one stage this cycle starting? How do you see?
I I I need to better understand the question. Are you talking about
Mhm.
as a ceremony, or in life?
Oh, I mean in life at all. Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Initiation for a woman, yes.
Well, I mean, I follow a priestess path, and in that, Venus and its transit. Let's just look at that. You've got 5 petals that happen, and there is the innocence and the maiden and spring and symbolism and blossoming and trusting the process, and then there's the summer, and that's desire, and then there's surrender, and that's the mother autumn season, the rebirth, return to spring. So there's cyclical phases throughout the woman's life, and nothing is the same. We're constantly changing. And I'm so sorry. I need to step away for just 1 minute. I just need to let my dog out of my tent. Excuse me, 1 second. Now you're going to be out. Go ahead. Go. Thank you for that. She was bugging. So yes, we have the phases of maiden, mother, crone, but within those 3, there's so many little births and deaths that one must go through.
Exactly, yeah, and those, stages also what you mentioned, yes, maiden, mother, crone, all of those are very, very important, and so different things are happening there.
And there's transformation in all of those phases, transformation, death, rebirth. So it's a constant. It's a constant.
Exactly. And how do you see what a woman needs to be happy? What are the essential thing or things to be happy for a woman?
I would say giving ourselves more grace. I think we try to keep up, and especially as mothers, we have a lot to tend to, and there's a lot of pressure on us to keep the family home clean, to do our work, to bring money into to the home, to then raise our children. There's so much coming at us. So to keep happy, I found for myself, I can only speak for myself,
Yes, please.
as I have followed the moon cycles, that has really helped me understanding where I am in my menstrual phase, and when I need to separate myself from the world and give myself some healing time to regroup. And when you start to really follow how your cycles go, and that's something that's taught in my course, you understand the ebbs and flows, and you know, like, oh, this might not be a good time to be out in the world. I might get a little snappy at people, and so you step back. Those things. I found that it was harder for me when I stopped my cycles, because I felt like, oh gosh, I don't have anything to follow. But then I realized you were following the moon cycles anyway, so just continue with that, with the new moons and the full moons, and that will keep you as close to a cyclical calendar as possible. So it took me probably like 6 months to a year to like kind of get into the groove of not having my cycles anymore, and being that in touch with my body, to not bleeding and feeling a little lost. I was a little lost there until I realized you were following the moon cycles anyways. Just continue that for yourself, and then that definitely helped me quite a bit. But that keeps me happy. That definitely keeps me happy. It keeps me in alignment with my higher self and my higher good. Yeah.
So nice. And while you were speaking, I remembered here I have printed out all the materials from you about this menarche
That little
ceremonies.
girl,
Yes.
on the cover, I just was in Bali with her last month, and she just turned 20. And just to see how she's grown and how empowered she is. Her name is Lotus, and she's been to a lot of countries, and been apprentice and learned a lot of things. She's got quite the spirit. She's going to be a leader in the future. And I flew to Colorado to give her menarche ceremony, and it wasn't as elaborate as it could have been, because I wasn't here with all my stuff, but it was so powerful for her. And it's beautiful to witness these young women that I served at 13, who are now in their 20s and about to be the change makers in the world. Yeah.
So great. Yes. And this is something like a Bible for me.
Good. I love it.
Yeah,
That's what it was intended.
Women Bible.
Oh, thank you for that. That means a lot.
So nice. Yes. Yes, Tina, I'm so happy and so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you, and I feel that we should wrap up this talk, and maybe there is something what I have not asked you, or what you would like to share, or give some message to the women in Latvia and whoever is hearing.
Oh, I guess to close this, I would probably ask for those who watch this, who listen, who are curious. I brought some books to share. This is a really beautiful book. Do you know this book?
I don't see. I still don't see you.
Sorry, but the book is called, I hope that people can see, but the book is called When the Drummers Were Women, and it's by Leanne Redman, and it's a spiritual history of rhythm. I make red drums, and that's one of the things that I love to do with women. I brought my red drum that I made, my first red drum that I made. She didn't get her painting until a couple years later, but it's a really beautiful. You've got your red drum. Let's see your red drum. Oh
Yes.
yes, yours is
I
beautiful.
also
Yours is huge. Love that
I
one.
found opportunity in Latvia also to make it. Yes, I'm very happy and proud.
Making the holes, just doing the whole thing. It's just such a beautiful experience to make a drum from scratch for sure. Dyeing it with natural dyes. I would say educate yourself in the sense of there's so many beautiful groups, welcoming groups for women who want to explore a more supportive sisterhood. Get involved online. That's a start. Start something in your neighborhood for women once a month. Just bring a few of your friends together, light a candle, talk about the things that are important that to you. I don't do these things every month anymore because I'm quite busy with my work, but I definitely do the solstice and equinox and all of the turning of the wheel. And when we come together, we realize how important it is to be together and just speak freely because it's a safe container where women can share. And I think we need more of those throughout the world. I think that that's the start of rekindling this fire within women. That's very important to me, and I would imagine those that check you out and your work and this live are curious about it. It doesn't need to be anything big. It just needs to be a candle and getting a group of women together.
And
Yeah.
I also remember that my first women's cycle, when I was already inspired by you and by your work, it was also just at my home with a couple of my friends and their daughters, and it was COVID time. And this was my first women's circle. We drank cacao, hot
Beautiful.
chocolate, and had just those talks. And this was my first mini women's circle, and then it started to spread.
They wanted more, right? They loved what they felt and they asked for more. And that's usually what happens. When are you doing it again? Oh, I really love this. It was so nice to sit in a circle with other women and watch The Red Tent. This movie is available, I think, on Prime. Order it, watch it, and you'll get the essence of what we're trying to create.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been an honor to talk to you.
And I feel so inspired, and it is so interesting that we have this conversation shortly before winter solstice, and this is such a beautiful and such a powerful time.
So powerful.
Yes,
Will you be
exactly.
holding any circle for the solstice? Will you be doing anything?
I'm planning to hold online meditation.
Nice.
I started this summer on summer solstice on YouTube. Yeah, just a free meditation. So this is what I'm planning for also for winter.
Oh,
Yes,
I love that.
and you will have some circle, as I understood.
I was going to take part in a circle, an indigenous Chumash circle. Unfortunately, Malibu, it is a beach area. It's on fire right now. We've got a major fire blazing, and I don't know if they'll have it because of this. So I wasn't intending on doing a solstice myself this year. I wanted to partake, and I actually, with the death that I've had in August of my matriarch in our family, I've actually these last few months I've tried to step into other circles because I'm the holder of the sacred vessel, and I felt that I've needed to be held. And I've gone to other women's circles to get my sense of self and not have to hold. And it was very different. I've been to 3. They were very, very different, and all of them, each in their own way, filled my soul. And I may seek something out for the solstice. I'm taking a break for the rest of this year, and I'm up and running as of February. I'll be doing that monarchy ceremony, my croning ceremony, and we'll see what happens from there. So
nice.
Yeah.
And I hope to see some pictures.
Always pictures. Yes. I always try to
exactly.
document everything. Well, thank you. Maybe I'll be checking your meditation out. So online.
This will be in Latvian probably.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Okay.
So the Latvian people can join. Yes,
Good.
and
Work with your
enjoy. Yes,
community.
exactly. Yes.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Thank
Big thanks
you.
to you. Thank you. And
Yes.
and keep in touch virtually. And who knows, maybe there comes a time when I can visit California.
Or we
And
have
maybe
a retreat somewhere where we all meet up would be another beautiful thing.
Exactly. Yes.
To end that, I'm just putting out there, I am trying to create something in Sardinia. I want to do a mother-daughter retreat there in Sardinia. There is a cave there that goes unnoticed, and in this cave, there are 3 big holes and big entrances, and they were used for ceremony many, many years ago because there was female worship there. And I really, it's percolating in my head, but I'm really trying to create something to go there and do a beautiful women mother retreat there. So we'll keep in touch, and hopefully I can manifest that, make that happen.
Nice. And yeah, let it be, let it happen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very
Be
much,
well.
and have
Thank
a
you so
beautiful
much.
day.
You too. Bye-bye.
So nice to meet you. Bye bye.
You as well. Bye-bye.